Hayreddin Barbarossa, or Barbarossa Hayreddin Pasha Pasa or Hizir Hayreddin Pasa, also Hizir race before being promoted to the rank of Pasha and becoming the Kapudan Pasha. Born Khizr or Khidr, was an Ottoman admiral of the fleet who was born in the island of Midilli and died in Constantinople, the Ottoman capital. Barbarossa's naval victories secured Ottoman dominance over the Mediterranean during the mid-16th century. From the Battle of Preveza in 1538 until the Battle of Lepanto in 1571, Hayreddin was an honorary name given to him by Sultan Sulayman the Magnificent. He became known as Barbarossa in Europe, a name he inherited from his elder brother Oric Race after Oric was killed in a battle with the Spanish in Algeria. Oric was also known as Barbaroric, which sounded like Barbarossa to the Europeans, and since Oric did have a red beard, the nickname stuck. In a process of linguistic reborrowing, the nickname then stuck back to Hayreddin's native Turkish name, in the form Barbarous. Background: Khizr was born around 1478 on the Ottoman island of Midilli, in the village Paleokipos, to his father Yakup Aga and to his mother Katerina. His father was a Turk of Albanian origin. His mother was a local Christian Greek woman from Mytilene, the widow of an Orthodox priest. Yakup and Katerina were married and had 2 daughters and 4 sons. Ishak, Oric, Khizr and Ilyas. Yakup took part in the Ottoman conquest of Lesbos in 1462 from the Geno-Zagatalusha dynasty and as a reward, was granted the fief of the Bon of a village in the island. He became an established potter and purchased a boat to trade his products. The 4 sons helped their father with his business, but not much is known about the daughters. At first Oric helped with the boat, while Khizr helped with pottery. Early career: all 4 brothers became seamen, engaged in marine affairs and international sea trade. The first brother to become involved in seamanship was Oric, who was joined by his brother Ilyas. Later, obtaining his own ship, Khizr also began his career at sea. The brothers initially worked as sailors, but then turned privateers in the Mediterranean to counteract the privateering of the Knights Hospitaller who were based in the island of Rhodes. Oric and Ilyas operated in the Levant, between Anatolia, Syria, and Egypt. Khizr operated in the Aegean Sea and based his operations mostly in Thessaloniki. Ishak, the eldest, remained on Mytilene and was involved with the financial affairs of the family business. Death of Ilyas, captivity and liberation of Oric. Oric was a very successful seaman. He also learned to speak Italian, Spanish, French, Greek and Arabic in the early years of his career. While returning from a trading expedition in Tripoli, Lebanon, with his younger brother Ilyas, they were attacked by the Knights of St. John. Ilyas was killed in the fight, and Oric was wounded. Their father's boat was captured, and Oric was taken as a prisoner and detained in the Knights' Castle at Bodrum for nearly 3 years. Upon learning the location of his brother, Khizr went to Bodrum and managed to help Oric escape. Oric the Corsair. Oric later went to Antalya, where he was given 18 galleys by the Seyzade Korkut, an Ottoman prince and governor of the city, and charged with fighting against the Knights of St. John, who were inflicting serious damage on Ottoman shipping and trade. In the following years, when Korkut became governor of Manisa, he gave Oric a larger fleet of 24 galleys at the port of Izmir and ordered him to participate in the Ottoman naval expedition to Apulia in Italy, where Oric bombarded several coastal castles and captured 2 ships. On his way back to Lesbos, he stopped at Euboea and captured 3 galleons and another ship. Reaching Mytilene with these captured vessels, Oric learned that Korkut, who was the brother of the new Ottoman Sultan Selim I, had fled to Egypt in order to avoid being killed because of succession disputes, a common practice at that time. Fearing trouble due to his well-known association with the exiled Ottoman prince, Oric sailed to Egypt. where he met Korkut in Cairo and managed to get an audience with the Mamluk Sultan Qansar al-Ghari, who gave him another ship and appointed him with the task of raiding the coasts of Italy and the islands of the Mediterranean that were controlled by Christians. After passing the winter in Cairo, he set sail from Alexandria and frequently operated along the coasts of Liguria and Sicily. His career under Uruk in 1503, Uruk managed to seize 3 more ships and made the island of Jabbar his new base, thus moving his operations to the western Mediterranean. Khizr joined Uruk at Jabbar. In 1504, the brothers contacted Abu Abdullah Muhammad Hamas, Sultan of Tunisia from the Beni Hafs dynasty, and asked permission to use the strategically located port of La Goulette for their operations. They were granted this right with the condition of leaving 1/3 of their gains to the Sultan. Uruk, in command of small galleots, captured 2 much larger papal galleys near the island of Elba. Later, near Lipari, the 2 brothers captured a Sicilian warship, the Cavalleria, with 380 Spanish soldiers and 60 Spanish knights from Aragon on board, who were on their way from Spain to Naples. In 1505, they raided the coasts of Calabria. These accomplishments increased their fame, and they were joined by several other well-known Muslim corsairs, including Kurtoglu. In 1508, they raided the coasts of Liguria, particularly Diano Marina. In 1509, Ishak also left Mytilene and joined his brothers at La Goulette. The fame of Uruk increased when, between 1504 and 1510, he transported Muslim mudajars from Christian Spain to North Africa. His efforts of helping the Muslims of Spain in need and transporting them to safer lands earned him the honorific name Barbar Uruk, which eventually, due the similarity in sound, evolved in Spain, France and Italy into Barbarossa. In 1510, the 3 brothers raided Cape Passaro in Sicily and repulsed a Spanish attack on Bougie, Oran and Algiers. In August 1511, they raided the areas around Reggio Calabria in southern Italy. In August 1512, the exiled ruler of Bougie invited the brothers to drive out the Spaniards, and during the battle, Uruk lost his left arm. This incident earned him the nickname Gummus Cole, in reference to the silver prosthetic device that he used in place of his missing limb. Later that year, the 3 brothers raided the coasts of Andalusia in Spain, capturing a galleot of the Lomellini family of Genoa, who owned the Tabacar island in that area. They subsequently landed on Minorca and captured a coastal castle and then headed towards Liguria, where they captured 4 Genoese galleys near Genoa. The Genoese sent a fleet to liberate their ships, but the brothers captured their flagship as well. After capturing a total of 23 ships in less than a month, the brothers sailed back to La Goulette. There, they built 3 more galleots and a gunpowder production facility. In 1513, they captured 4 English ships on their way to France, raided Valencia, where they captured 4 more ships, and then headed for Alicante and captured a Spanish galley near Malaga. In 1513 and 1514, the 3 brothers engaged the Spanish fleet on several other occasions and moved to their new base in Cherchell, east of Algiers. In 1514, with 12 galleots and 1,000 Turks, they destroyed 2 Spanish fortresses at Bougie. And when the Spanish fleet under the command of Miguel de Goria, Viceroy of Majorca, arrived for assistance, they headed towards Ceuta and raided that city before capturing Gilel in Algeria, which was under Genoese control. They later captured Mardiya in Tunisia. Afterwards, they raided the coasts of Sicily, Sardinia, the Balearic Islands and the Spanish mainland, capturing 3 large ships there. In 1515, they captured several galleons, a galley and 3 barks at Majorca. In 1516, joined by Kurtoglu, the brothers besieged the castle of Elba, before heading once more towards Liguria, where they captured 12 ships and damaged 28 others. Rulers of Algiers in 1516. The 3 brothers succeeded in capturing Gilel and Algiers from the Spaniards but eventually assumed control over the city and surrounding region. forcing the previous ruler, Abu Hamoumus of III of the Beni Ziyad dynasty, to flee. The Spaniards in Algiers sought refuge on the island of Penon off the Moroccan coast and asked Charles V, King of Spain and Holy Roman Emperor, to intervene, but the Spanish fleet failed to force the brothers out of Algiers. Algiers joined the Ottoman Empire after consolidating his power and declaring himself Sultan of Algiers. Uruk sought to enhance his territory inland and took Maliana, Madia and Tiercutanese. He became known for attaching sails to cannons for transport through the deserts of North Africa. In 1517, the brothers raided Capo Limita and later, the island of Capo Rizzuto in Calabria. For Uruk, the best protection against Spain was to join the Ottoman Empire, his homeland and Spain's main rival. For this, he had to relinquish his title of Sultan of Algiers to the Ottomans. He did this in 1517 and offered Algiers to the Ottoman Sultan Selim I. The Sultan accepted Algiers as an Ottoman sanjak, appointed Uruk as the governor of Algiers and chief sea governor of the West Mediterranean, and promised to support him with janissaries, galleys and cannons. Final engagements and death of Uruk and Ishak. The Spaniards ordered Abu Zayn, whom they had appointed as the new ruler of Tlemcen and Oran, to attack Uruk race from land, but Uruk learned of the plan and preemptively struck against Tlemcen, capturing the city and executing Abu Zayn in the fall of Tlemcen. The only survivor of Abu Zayn's dynasty was Sheikh Buf Hamud, who escaped to Oran and called for Spain's assistance. In May 1518, Emperor Charles V arrived at Oran and was received at the port by Sheikh Buf Hamud and the Spanish governor of the city, Diego de Córdoba, Marquis of Comés, who commanded a force of 10,000 Spanish soldiers, joined by thousands of local Bedouins. The Spaniards marched overland towards Tlemcen. Uruk and Ishak awaited them in the city with 1,500 Turkish and 5,000 Moorish soldiers. They defended Tlemcen for 20 days, but were eventually killed in combat by the forces of Garcia de Tinea. Khizr, now given the title of Beylibi by Sultan Selim I, along with janissaries, galleys and cannons, inherited his brother's place, his name and his mission.